The valet didn't even notice the man step out of the black Prius. No designer suit, no entourage, no ego. Just a quiet man in a black hoodie, jeans, and scuffed boots. He didn't walk like someone important. He didn't carry himself with the loud arrogance that often entered this place. But there was something strange about him. He didn't look down when others looked past him. Inside the restaurant, Maison de Lumière, Beverly Hills' glittering gem, the waiters were in high form. Platinum spoons gleamed under golden chandeliers. Soft piano music floated through the air like perfume. Reservations took weeks. Bills ended with commas. And appearances were everything. The man walked in without a reservation. Sir," the hostess blinked, her smile freezing mid-glow. "Do you have—" "Table for one," he said quietly. His voice was soft, polite. The kind that made you listen without realizing you were. The maitre d', Marcel, peeked over her shoulder and nearly rolled his eyes. Sir," Marcel said, lips pursed. "We're fully booked tonight." The man smiled faintly. "Table 7 is empty," Marcel faltered. He was right. Table 7 was empty. Cancelled last minute by some Hollywood producer. Still, the man didn't look like he belonged here. No watch, no visible wealth, no stylist. Just peace. Before Marcel could argue, a voice cut through. "I'll take him." It was Danny, a waitress in her late 20s, brown ponytail, sharp eyes, dulled by long shifts. She had that look of someone surviving, not living. She had bills, dreams, and bruises on her knuckles from juggling 2 jobs and a 6-year-old at home. Marcel scoffed. "As you wish. If he doesn't tip, it's on you." The man followed Danny quietly to table 7, which offered a perfect view of the chandelier and the reflection of the city lights bouncing off wine glasses. "Water with lemon?" she asked. "That'd be great. Thank you, Danny." She blinked. "Did I tell you my name?" He smiled. "It's on your name tag." "Oh." From across the room, another waiter, Liam, narrowed his eyes. Tall, handsome, with an actor's jawline and a banker's soul. He liked power. He liked tips. And he liked feeling better than other people. When he saw Danny serving the man in the hoodie, he smirked. "Charity case?" he whispered as he walked past her. Danny didn't reply. But the man smiled again. He'd heard it. The man ordered the simplest thing on the menu. A garden salad, a bowl of tomato bisque, and a glass of tap water. Liam made sure the kitchen knew. "Salad and soup. We've got a big spender," he joked loudly. A few waiters chuckled, but Danny served him with quiet dignity. As the man ate, he looked around. He watched, not just the chandeliers or the extravagant wine bottles. He watched the staff, the people behind the shine. He watched Danny. She moved fast but gentle, like someone who had learned to stretch time. She smiled at the older couple in the corner. She offered an extra napkin to a child with a runny nose. She ducked behind the counter to help a new busboy tie his apron. All this, while Liam leaned against the bar sipping espresso and texting. "Excuse me," the man at table 7 said as Danny passed. "Yes? Do you enjoy working here?" Danny paused. She glanced around. "It pays." "That's not what I asked." She hesitated, unsure if he was mocking her. "No," she said softly. "But it helps me get through the month. That's more than some places." He nodded slowly. "Do they see how good you are?" She blinked. "I don't think they look long enough to care." He gave a small, thoughtful smile. "Some of the greatest stories begin with people no one noticed." Meanwhile, Liam was whispering to the bartender. "Check this out," he said, pulling up his phone. "That guy looks like Keanu Reeves, right?" The bartender peered. "He does, kinda. You think it's him?" Liam laughed. "Nah, no bodyguards, no manager. No way he rolls up in a Prius. Probably a fanboy playing dress-up. Watch this." He walked over to the table with a wide, fake grin. "Hey there." Everything okay? You enjoying your salad, sir? Yes. Thank you. I'm Liam. Let me know if you need anything bigger. Something that fits the vibe of this place. I'm fine, thank you. Liam leaned in slightly. You know, we get a lot of celebrities here, but they usually dress like they've been outside in the last decade. Danny's eyes shot open. The man didn't react. He just looked at Liam. Calm, steady. Thank you for your observation. Liam walked away, proud of himself. Danny whispered, I'm sorry. The man shook his head. Don't be. He's just doing what insecure people do. The night went on. A man at another table spilled wine on his jacket. Danny rushed over with club soda and towels. Liam watched and smirked. Always the hero, he muttered. The man at table 7 rose quietly. He approached the spilled wine man, handed him his own napkin and said, It's just a jacket. Don't let it ruin your evening. Then he returned to his seat without another word. Danny followed him, confused. You didn't have to do that. He shrugged. People need kindness more than they need food. As the restaurant closed and the lights dimmed, Danny brought the bill to table 7. She glanced down at the slip. Salad, soup, water. Total, $26. She expected a $3 tip at most. But as she picked up the check, her hands shook. $1,000 tip below it, a note in neat handwriting. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for being the kind of person this world needs more of. KR. She stared, breath frozen. He was already gone. No car pulled up, no limo, no photo op, just gone. Marcel frowned when he saw the empty table. Cheap guy couldn't even say goodbye. Danny clutched the check like it was fragile glass. No, I think he said exactly what he needed to. The next morning, sunlight flooded through the tall windows of Maison de Lumière. The chandeliers glittered even without the light. Everything sparkled, except for the staff. Danny stood by the coffee machine, still processing the surreal night before. The $1,000 tip felt like a fever dream, like something you hold tightly to in case the wind tries to take it away. The napkin with the initials KR was still in her coat pocket, folded neatly, protected like a secret. Liam sauntered. 15 minutes late, sunglasses on indoors and a latte in hand. Late again, Marcel said, not bothering to look up from the schedule clipboard. Liam shrugged. Traffic, and I knew you'd cover for me. Marcel sighed but said nothing. Liam always got away with things, charm, confidence, and just enough charisma to make the higher-ups look the other way. In the back kitchen, Danny whispered to the dishwasher, Jonah. Do you remember the man I served last night? The guy in the hoodie, Jonah asked. Yeah. Quiet. You okay? He left me $1,000 tip, she said, barely above a whisper. Jonah blinked. 1,000? You serious? She nodded, eyes wide. Jonah whistled softly. Was he famous or something? I think he was somebody. I think he was Keanu Reeves. Jonah dropped the sponge. You're joking. I'm not. Danny approached Marcel cautiously. Marcel, do you know who owns this place? He raised a brow. Of course I do, but it's complicated. Silent partners, investment groups. It's not just one person. But if someone important came here secretly, would anyone tell us? Marcel frowned. Why? Because I think he was watching. Like he came here to observe how we treat people. Marcel chuckled dryly. What is this, a Disney movie? Some undercover boss fantasy? I'm serious. He waved her off. You think some celebrity's going to walk in here wearing a hoodie and driving a Prius just to test you? She didn't answer. Later that day, Marcel called an all-staff meeting. Everyone filed in. Waiters, cooks, hostesses, busboys, even the pastry chef. Marcel stood in front of them holding a white envelope. Last night, one of our servers received this. He held up a printed copy of the receipt with the $1,000 tip circled in red. Gasps, whispers. Liam leaned forward, suddenly interested. Who? Someone asked. Marcel pointed. Danny. Danny looked down, face flushed. A few clapped. Jonah gave her a quiet thumbs up. Then Marcel cleared his throat. But before anyone gets excited, we're launching an internal investigation. Murmurs erupted. What? Danny said, stunned. Marcel raised his hand. The tip violates house policy. Anything over $500 must be cleared by management. Danny stepped forward. But it was a gift. He didn't use a card or anything. It wasn't fraud. We're not accusing you of fraud, but we're checking cameras, statements, and kitchen logs. Liam smirked in the back. Someone muttered, "She earned that." Marcel folded his arms. Policy is policy. If the owner hears we're letting staff pocket unverified $1,000 tips, we're all in trouble. Danny's heart sank. This wasn't about the money anymore. It was about how quickly kindness turned into suspicion. Liam found her in the break room later. Rough day, huh? She didn't answer. He sat across from her, smug. You know what your problem is? You think the world owes you something just because you're nice. She clenched her jaw. You act like you're better than the rest of us because you actually care. Guess what? This place eats people like you alive. She stood up. No, Liam. People like you eat people like me alive. This place just lets you do it. And she walked out. Meanwhile, across town in a modest studio apartment, Keanu Reeves sipped his coffee and opened his laptop. He rewatched the surveillance footage from Table 7, a direct feed he had access to as the silent owner of Maison de Lumière. He watched Danny, her gentleness, her grace under pressure. Then he watched Liam, leaning, smirking, whispering. Keanu leaned back in his chair. He didn't believe in revenge, but he believed in teaching moments. He typed out a message. The next night, a sleek, silver-haired woman in her 60s entered the restaurant. Elegant, regal. She wore a navy blue pantsuit and diamond stud earrings. Reservation for Evelyn Bowers, she said. Marcel rushed to greet her. Of course, right this way. Evelyn was a long-time investor and Keanu's personal advisor. Her presence was rare and terrifying. I want to speak to the staff, she said before she sat down. Marcel blinked. Excuse me? Right. Now. He scrambled. Oh, of course, right away. Within minutes, the staff lined up nervously near the wine cellar. Liam chewed gum casually. Danny stood with her hands folded. Evelyn stepped forward. Last night, a regular patron visited this establishment incognito. He was treated, interestingly. Murmurs. Marcel paled. Some of you treated him with quiet dignity. She looked at Danny. Others, with mockery and arrogance. She turned to Liam. What's your name? Liam, he said, still smug. Nice to meet you. I've seen the tapes, Liam. You'll be suspended for 3 weeks without pay. His smile dropped. What? And if I see behavior like that again, you'll be fired, not transferred, not warned, fired. He opened his mouth to protest, but the silence in the room crushed him. Then Evelyn smiled. And as for Danny braced herself. Evelyn stepped closer. The owner would like to meet you. That night, a letter was slipped into Danny's locker. It was handwritten. Dear Danny, you saw me before you knew me. You respected me before you recognized me, and that's what true character looks like. Meet me at Table 7, tomorrow night, after closing. K.R. Danny held the letter in shaking hands. This wasn't a dream. This was real. The clock in the quiet restaurant ticked steadily, but Danny's heart raced. It was past midnight, long after the last guest had left and the clatter of plates had been silenced. The usual hum of the kitchen was replaced by an expectant silence, broken only by the occasional whisper of footsteps in the distance. Table 7 sat gleaming under the soft glow of a dimmed chandelier, a small sanctuary carved out of the stillness. Danny adjusted her uniform nervously and glanced at the folded note in her pocket once again. Meet me at Table 7, tomorrow night after closing. The words danced in her mind, tinged with curiosity, anticipation, and a dash of fear. Why did the owner want to meet her? A waitress, barely a month on the job. The questions swirled. Relentlessly, she reminded herself. This was no ordinary meeting. This was something far bigger. She walked through the restaurant's polished marble floors, the silence feeling almost sacred. Memories of the night before cascaded through her mind. The mockery, the suspicion, the bitter words of Liam. His sneering face still haunted her. How could someone be so cruel just because she showed kindness? But this meeting was a chance to reset everything. As she approached table 7, she noticed a tall figure sitting in the shadows, casually sipping a glass of water. The man didn't look up as she neared. "Are you Keanu Reeves?" she asked hesitantly. The man smiled softly, a warmth in his eyes that belied the quiet intensity of the moment. "Yes, Danny. I am." Keanu's voice was calm, steady, and filled with an unexpected gentleness. "I've watched you work these past weeks. I saw how you treat everyone with kindness, the guests, the staff, even those who don't deserve it." Danny swallowed hard. "But why? Why would someone like you, a famous actor, own a restaurant like this? And why did you come here incognito?" Keanu leaned forward. "Because I believe that true character reveals itself when no one is watching. I wanted to see who you really are, not who people think you are." Danny felt a lump in her throat. "You didn't just leave me the generous tip. You left me hope." Keanu nodded. "And you deserve it. You faced cruelty and suspicion, but you stood tall. That's rare. That's bravery." The two sat in silence for a moment, the weight of unspoken words filling the space. "Liam," Danny finally said, "he mocked you. He mocked me, and no one stopped him." Keanu's expression darkened. "Some people use cruelty to hide their own insecurities. Liam's actions are not just about you or me. They reveal the toxicity in environments where kindness is seen as weakness." Danny's eyes welled up. "I just want to make a difference, to be seen as more than just a waitress." "You already are," Keanu said softly. Over the next hour, Keanu shared stories from his own life, moments when he faced rejection, when he was underestimated, when he felt invisible despite the fame. "I learned early on that success is meaningless without empathy, without kindness. That's why I started this restaurant, as a place where respect is the currency and dignity the dress code." Danny listened intently, her fears melting away with every word. "You inspire me, Danny. You remind me why I do what I do." As the clock neared 2 a.m., Keanu stood. "I want to offer you something. A chance to grow beyond this restaurant. To become a leader, to show others that kindness can be powerful." Danny's heart skipped. "Are you serious?" He smiled. "I am. Starting tomorrow, you'll take on a new role here, one that comes with responsibility and respect. You will help shape this place." Tears of gratitude slipped down her cheeks. The next morning, Danny arrived to the surprised faces of the Yao staff. Marcel's eyes widened when she announced her promotion. Liam avoided her gaze. "Don't let this change you," Keanu had told her. "Be the light they can't ignore." Danny promised herself she would. The sun rose over the city skyline, bathing Maison de Lumière in a soft golden glow that promised a new day, a new beginning. But inside the restaurant, beneath the shimmering chandeliers and polished silverware, a storm was quietly brewing. Danny stood in the staff room, adjusting her new name tag. Assistant manager. The letters felt heavy with responsibility. Just a few weeks ago, she was a shy waitress trying to survive the cruelty of coworkers like Liam. Now she was expected to lead. Her mind raced with questions. How could she command respect when some of the staff still whispered behind her back? How could she enforce rules on people who once looked down on her? Marcel approached her, a rare softness in his usually stern face. "You're doing well, Danny, but leadership isn't just about authority. It's about earning trust." Danny nodded. "I want to change this place. But I'm scared. Marcel smiled faintly. Good. Fear keeps you humble. Just don't let it stop you. The restaurant opened that evening with its usual elegance. Guests arrived dressed in their finest, expecting impeccable service and luxurious meals. But beneath the surface, Danny was already feeling the weight of her new role. She found Liam leaning against the bar, arms crossed, a defiant glint in his eyes. Don't think this promotion means you're better than us, he said sharply. Danny squared her shoulders. I'm not better. I'm just different. And I'm here to make sure everyone's treated with respect, starting now. Liam scoffed. You? A waitress? Don't forget where you came from. Word spread quickly through the staff that Danny had taken charge. Some admired her courage. Others resented it. One night, a senior waiter named Eric called a secret meeting. We've got a problem, Eric said grimly. She's trying to change everything. The old rules don't apply anymore. People aren't happy. Liam grinned. Finally, someone who sees sense. But Jonah, the dishwasher, shook his head. Maybe it's time for change. Danny stayed. Late that night, poring over schedules and training manuals. She wanted to prove she was ready, that she deserved this chance. Suddenly, the door creaked open. Keanu Reeves stepped inside, calm and composed. I wanted to see how you're doing, he said quietly. Danny looked up, surprised. Mr. Reeves, I'm honored. Keanu smiled warmly. Call me Keanu, and I'm not here to inspect. I'm here to help. They talked long into the night, about leadership, empathy, and the challenges ahead. The following weeks were grueling. Danny faced resistance, sabotage, and doubt. Liam spread rumors. Eric subtly undermined her decisions. Some guests complained about changes in service, but Danny held fast, inspired by Keanu's belief in her. She introduced new staff meetings focused on communication and teamwork. She listened to complaints, addressed conflicts, and celebrated small victories. Slowly, the restaurant began to transform. One evening, a high-profile charity event was held at Maison de Lumière. The guest list included celebrities, politicians, and influencers. Danny's nerves skyrocketed. During dinner service, a crisis erupted. The head chef fell ill and the kitchen was thrown into chaos. Danny jumped in, coordinating with the cooks, communicating with the waitstaff, and calming guests. Her quick thinking saved the night. The event was hailed as a success. Keanu watched from the sidelines, pride shining in his eyes. Afterward, he pulled Danny aside. You handled that like a true leader. You proved that kindness and strength are not opposites. They're allies. Danny smiled through tears. I couldn't have done it without your faith. Keanu shook his head. It was all you. The next day, Danny stood before the staff. I know this journey hasn't been easy, she said. But together, we're building something better, a place where respect and kindness are our foundation. Liam looked away, silent for once. Jonah clapped. Marcel nodded approvingly. And Keanu? Keanu smiled. The air was thick with tension at Maison de Lumière as the staff prepared for the evening rush. The restaurant, once just a place to serve meals, had evolved into a beacon of hope and transformation under Danny's leadership. But, beneath the glittering chandeliers and polished tables, an unseen challenge was about to shake everything to its core. Danny arrived early that afternoon, her mind racing through the day's plans. She had learned to expect the unexpected, but nothing could prepare her for the call she received just moments before entering the restaurant. Danny, Keanu's voice was steady but grave on the phone. We have a problem. The health inspector is coming today. Unannounced. Her heart sank. The restaurant's reputation was everything, and a surprise inspection could either make or break everything she had worked so hard to build. As the hours crawled by, Danny rallied the staff, instilling calm and focus. She reminded them that their strength came from teamwork and integrity. The kitchen was spotless, the tables immaculate, and the menu flawless. Yet, as the clock neared 5, a sense of dread lingered like a shadow. The inspector arrived without fanfare. A no-nonsense woman named Claire, known in the industry for her strict standards and unyielding scrutiny. From the moment she stepped inside, the staff felt the weight of her gaze. She moved methodically, checking every corner, every surface, every utensil. Danny stayed close, answering questions and demonstrating the changes she had implemented since her promotion. She explained the new hygiene protocols, the staff training, sessions, and the commitment to quality that Keanu had insisted upon. Claire listened but remained expressionless. Then, disaster struck. In the kitchen, Claire spotted a minor violation. A small crack in a tile on the floor, a detail no one had noticed but now threatened to derail everything. "This could be a serious hazard," Claire said coldly. "I'm afraid I have to recommend a temporary closure until it's fixed." Gasps echoed in the staff room. Danny felt the room tilt, all her hard work, the progress, the trust, on the verge of collapse. But Danny refused to give in to despair. She stood tall and met Claire's eyes. "Please," she said earnestly. "This restaurant is more than just a business. It's a community, a place where people come to find kindness, respect, and hope. We take full responsibility and will fix the issue immediately, but I ask for your understanding. Please consider allowing us to stay open while we make the repairs." Claire's expression softened, just a fraction. "I'll need to review your maintenance plan," she said. Danny nodded, pulling out the detailed schedule she had prepared. Timelines, contractors, safety checks. Over the next few hours, Danny worked tirelessly, coordinating with contractors, communicating with staff, and keeping guests informed. The weight of the crisis bore down on her, but she refused to falter. Keanu arrived unexpectedly, offering silent support. His presence was a reminder that Danny was not alone. Together they faced the storm. As night fell, Claire returned with her decision. "Your plan is thorough," she said. "I'm willing to give you a chance. A probationary period to complete the repairs without closing the restaurant." Relief flooded through Danny, but she knew this was only the beginning. "This is the ultimate test," Keanu said quietly. "Afterward. Not just of this restaurant, but of your leadership." The following weeks were grueling. Danny balanced the demands of repairs, staff morale, and guest expectations. She discovered new reserves of strength within herself, and her team. Liam surprisingly stepped up to help, realizing that resistance was no longer the path forward. Danny's journey had transformed not only the restaurant, but the people within it. One evening after a long day, Danny sat alone in the quiet dining room, reflecting on the journey. She thought of the insult from Liam months ago, the doubts, the challenges, and she realized she was no longer the same person. She was a leader. The first light of dawn filtered through the floor-to-ceiling windows of Maison de Lumière, casting a soft glow on the polished tables and freshly mopped floors. The restaurant was quiet now, but the day ahead promised renewal, a new chapter in its storied history. Danny stood alone in the empty dining room, her hands wrapped around a steaming cup of coffee. The events of recent weeks had left her exhausted but hopeful. She had faced the ultimate test of her leadership and emerged stronger. Behind her, the soft click of the door announced Keanu's entrance. He smiled warmly, carrying a stack of papers, plans, ideas, and visions for the future. "It's a new dawn, Danny," Keanu said, placing the papers on the polished table. "This is just the beginning." Danny smiled back. "I never imagined this journey would lead here, from a scared waitress to someone who now dreams of transforming an entire community." Keanu nodded. "And it will. Because you understand that success isn't just about the business, bro. It's about the people." Together, they reviewed the plans for expansion, community programs, culinary training for underprivileged youth, and partnerships with local farms to promote sustainability. The transformation was already underway. The staff, once divided, now worked in harmony. Liam had become one of Danny's strongest allies, mentoring new waiters and embodying the spirit of teamwork. Marcel, inspired by Danny's growth, implemented new policies that encouraged creativity and respect. The kitchen, once a battleground, was now a place of collaboration and innovation. Word spread quickly, and soon, Maison de Lumière was more than just a luxury restaurant. It was a symbol of hope, resilience, and community spirit. Guests arrived not only for the exquisite meals but to be part of the story, a story of courage, kindness, and transformation. One afternoon, Danny received a call from a local school principal. "We want to partner with you," the principal said. "Our students need mentors, role models. Your story, your restaurant, could inspire them." Danny's heart swelled. This was the impact she had dreamed of. The days grew brighter. The restaurant hosted workshops, charity events, and cooking classes, welcoming everyone with open arms. Danny often found herself reflecting on her journey, from the day Liam insulted her, unaware of who she was, to this moment of profound purpose. She had learned that true leadership was born from adversity and nurtured by compassion. One evening, during a bustling dinner service, Keanu approached Danny as she moved gracefully between tables. "You've done something extraordinary here," he said quietly. Danny paused, looking around at the smiling faces, the busy kitchen, the vibrant energy. "It wasn't me," she replied softly. "It was all of us." Keanu smiled, eyes twinkling. That's the mark of a true leader. As the night wore on, Danny felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The restaurant was no longer just a place to eat. It was a beacon of light in the city, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. And as dawn approached once more, Danny knew this was just the beginning of a remarkable journey. The soft glow of twilight bathed Maison de Lumière in a warm amber light. The restaurant, once a symbol of uncertainty and challenge, now pulsed with life and promise. Danny moved gracefully through the crowd, her heart swelling with pride. What began as a painful journey of growth and redemption had blossomed into a legacy of light, hope, and transformation. Months had passed since the surprise inspection and the crisis that had threatened to close the restaurant. Today, the establishment was not only thriving but was recognized as a pillar of the community. Its walls echoed with laughter, stories, and dreams fulfilled. Danny paused at the entrance to the kitchen, watching the chefs prepare dishes with passion and precision. Among them, Liam worked alongside the younger staff, his earlier arrogance replaced by humility and dedication. A knock on the door pulled Danny from her thoughts. Keanu entered, holding a small box wrapped in simple brown paper. "This," he said softly, "is for you." Inside was a delicate, hand-carved plaque, inscribed with the words, Maison de Lumière, a beacon of hope and courage. Danny's eyes glistened with tears. "Thank you," she whispered. Keanu smiled. "You earned this. But more importantly, you earned the respect and love of everyone here." As the evening unfolded, the restaurant hosted a special event, a celebration of community, perseverance, and new beginnings. Guests arrived from all walks of life, families, local leaders, former skeptics, and those whose lives had been touched by Danny's vision. The atmosphere was electric with joy and gratitude. Danny took to the small stage set up near the entrance, her voice steady and warm as she addressed the crowd. This restaurant was born from a dream that kindness, courage, and perseverance could change lives, she said. It's more than a place to eat. It's a home for those seeking hope and belonging. She looked around, meeting the eyes of those who had stood by her. Thank you for believing in this vision, for standing with me through every challenge. Together we've created something beautiful. The crowd erupted in applause. Later, as the event wound down, Danny found herself alone on the balcony, gazing out at the city lights. Keanu joined her, his voice low and reflective. You've done more than run a restaurant, Danny. You've sparked a movement, a legacy that will inspire generations. She smiled, feeling the weight of the journey behind her and the promise of the future ahead. It all started with a simple act, standing up for myself when no one believed I could. Keanu nodded. And now you stand not just for yourself, but for everyone who dreams of a better tomorrow. As the night deepened, Danny felt a profound sense of peace. The trials, the setbacks, and the moments of doubt had all led her here, to a place where light overcame darkness and hope triumphed over fear. Her story, once one of struggle, had become a beacon, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the transformative power of kindness. YouTube video transcript, Part 7. Inspirational music, soft but uplifting. Narrator, calm, heartfelt. Every journey finds its purpose. Every struggle births a legacy. Visual, warm twilight over the glowing restaurant. Danny and Keanu, sharing a quiet moment. Danny's story is one of transformation, from doubt to leadership, from hardship to hope. Visual, celebration with the community, laughter, applause, and heartfelt smiles. Through courage and kindness, she has built more than a restaurant. She has built a family, a movement, a light. Visual, the plaque reading, a beacon of hope and courage in Danny's speech. Her legacy reminds us that the greatest strength lies in perseverance, compassion, and the power of believing in ourselves. Visual, Danny looking out over the city lights, hopeful. Thank you for joining us on this journey. May it inspire you to be the light in someone's darkness. Subscribe and share these stories of resilience and hope.